up the sun. For it is that these energies that are coming in are very, very powerful and intense, and many systems, as we have said over and over again, will collapse. And you think of those systems as being financial or your education or your medicine or your religion, but your grid system is a part of this. So anywhere where there is density within energetic systems will find disruptions within those systems. And during those disruptions, the reaction to the disruption is much more important than the purpose or the reason of the disruption itself. All right, everybody. Hey, I'm Kelly. I'm the Angel Lady. That name is kind of stuck lately. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we have a free call. It's open to our spiritual community. It's live sometimes on YouTube, but it's mostly on a Zoom call. And people get the opportunity to ask the Angel Raphael a question. So that's so much fun. So I've been channeling the Archangel Raphael for 30 some odd years, 37, I think. And today I will do it again and bring the Angel Raphael in and open it up for you guys to ask questions. Um, Before I do that, I want to share with you that on June 2nd, we will connect with the Galactic White Horse Light Code. So for those of you who are feeling a stronger connection to your galactic family, who feel attuned to the feeling of being a star seed, and you really want to attune to their energies and their vibrations, we're going to work pretty intensely with them for a period of 3 full weeks. The class will be from 9 to 10 East Coast time for 3 weeks in the mornings. There's always a replay if you can't make that time. But I will be channeling galactic beings that entire time, and we'll also be going, um, make sure everybody is muted, into the depth of the waters and working with the dolphins. So we'll be working and going beyond the star systems that we are aware of now into the galactic core. We'll be riding what's called the Galactic White Horse, who will be this very magical fairy tale type of energy who's going to bring us completely into a different realm. And then we'll be also circling back all the way down into the core of the earth and into the inner earth and working with inner earth beings. So it's, I would say, a more advanced class. If you're just new to this type of work, it may not be the class for you, but if you're really ready to like take a leap forward and open up a lot of gifts and move at a kind of a very expansive holographic level, you might be ready for this. You can register for that. We always put a link below. And I'm leaving on Monday morning to head to New Mexico to prepare for it, as I'll be in one of the darkest places in the country, out in the middle of nowhere on 52 acres, communing with the stars and preparing. So I want to share that with all of you. All right. I know the blue beings did come in not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. And so we'll be working with them, but many other galactic beings. All right, so with that, I'm going to channel. If you're new to this process, I just close my eyes, I make these toning sounds, I kind of rock back and forth, my hands move around. Raphael will say hello. If you're called on, you will say hello back, and then you'll have that opportunity to ask your question. And Casey, I'm sure, has some rules to share with you before we get started.
Hi, everyone. I am just switching over to my computer, but today the rules are you have one intentional universal question that you get to share with us. There are no follow-up questions. And if the rules are broken, we will mute you to hear your questions. Just make sure that they're universal.
Okay. Fabulous. Easy peasy. All right, so let's get started. See what comes up. Before we start, let's just the energy is pretty intense on the planet. I wonder if you guys have noticed. Just a tad. So let's all take a nice deep breath together first, just like all the way in, really nice and deep, and then a big, whew, just let it all go. And another deep breath all the way in and a letting go. Knowing that you are in a very contained and sacred space in a spiritual community of like-minded people who are all through our intention choosing to have a higher vision for the new earth and to create something beautiful on our planet based in love. And that we are tuning to the absolute highest, purest frequencies of divine light and love as we attune to the Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing, to support all of you in answering your questions and loving you and just opening your heart. Ow, 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 ow. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello, hello, hello. Ow, ow. What is it?
Hi, Raphael. We're so honored to have you here with us today. And there's been a lot on the news. So I just wanted to start with that. There was a massive blackout in Spain and Portugal and France. And we know that you've spoken about grids going down and people are curious about the 3 days of darkness. I was just wondering if you could give us any insights into what that was, how it affected us, and what to expect moving forward in regards to things like that.
Oh. So how did you all do? That is the real question. Did you drop into fear? Was there panic? Was there worry? Was there searching? Was there concern? Or did you gather in the streets and play cards and get out your guitar and gather in community and rest on the park bench and lay in the lawn and soak up the sun? For it is that these energies that are coming in are very, very powerful and intense, and many systems, as we have said over and over again, will collapse. And you think of those systems as being financial or your education or your medicine or your religion, but your grid system is a part of this. So anywhere where there is density within energetic systems will find disruptions within those systems. And during those disruptions, the reaction to the disruption is much more important than the purpose or the reason of the disruption itself. In many regards, you could think of it as a test. And from our perspective, from an energetic perspective, many of you did very well with this and were able to ease into this. Now, these things that you call blackouts and the grid system coming down, which we have talked about for a very, very long time, this is just a taste of this unfoldment. But that does not mean in any way that you should be afraid, because with it there will be such great rebirth, such beautiful blessings, so much that will come in ways in which you cannot perceive from where you are now. And so, fortunately, much of what is taking place in the collapsing, although it is feeling very accelerated, as if you're on a speed train and it's moving very rapidly, It's not moving anywhere nearly as accelerated or as rapidly as it could be. And it is happening in increments in which you are able to calibrate to begin to open up to the possibility of it, to adjust to these new thoughts and ideas of perhaps what your life or experience here on Earth would be without the power grid, and what new grids then would be formed, and how you would then interact and communicate and cook and connect and do so many things and collaborate in community. And so, as we are approaching and preparing for the Galactic White Horse Light Code, it is supporting all of you in being able now to align with new grid systems that are coming online deep inside your earth and in your atmosphere that have not been assimilated or interfacing with you on a biological level for a very long time, in which you're coming back in relationship to these energies. And so there will be a lot of dissolving of old energies and birthing of new energies. But this is something that fortunately will be happening in increments that you will be able to adjust to. Now, it will speed up and it will accelerate, and there will be more blackouts, and the grid will continue to fluctuate and go down around your planet in different places. And over periods of time, this will create awareness and changes and shifts and awakenings that will support you in beginning to have different perceptions and ways of connecting and interacting with one another. And so, the most important thing in this process is to just be conscious and aware as to when these systems, whatever system they may be, because they're going to keep happening, and the headlines on your news are going to continue to be mirroring very big energies, how you are reacting to them. And we want to remind you that they are all temporary. And so, even if the grid is down for a period of time, or something appears or shifts or changes in your experience, and it might feel intense or a bit overwhelming as you begin to calibrate or adjust to it, it will complete itself. It is temporary. And there is nothing that will be happening that is so long lived that you will not be able to adjust. Now, of course, some of these energies will be longer than others, but they're going to continue to occur. And so it is how it is that you react and adapt to these frequencies.
Thank you so much, Raphael. And in our adaptation process, what role does fear have to play? Oftentimes, a lot of these events elicit a lot of fear in people, and the news headlines elicit fear. What is the role of fear in our evolution and in these events that keep showing up in these increments?
Oh, oh, oh. Well, fear is an energy. And it is one that can, in some ways, be harnessed for change. Fear is, of course, often labeled, and we speak of it in a tone that may appear negative, but it can have its purpose. But there are other energies that are who are a part of you, but perhaps are in a more denser frequency, that are grasping to your old world, that may be perpetuating situations that invoke fear, because when a population is in a state or a frequency of fear, they lose sight of their own divinity and their own power that is emanating from a place of harmonization, union, and love within their energetic field. And they are more likely to be persuaded or to be controlled by outside sources for a sense of self-preservation, or a feeling of that they do not have a choice. And so fear has been used by many of the systems that will be eventually dissolving in order to program, in a sense, others. But as that changes, you begin to understand in the depth of your being that nothing outside of yourself can control you, or that when you give your power to outside circumstances, you lose sight of your internal power and your capacity for creation and your capacity for the acceleration and the lifting of your frequency in order to be vibrating, in a sense, out of a particular timeline and entering into a new one. And so, as you are coming more and more into alignment with your divinity and the remembering and the essence of who it is that you are, holding the highest frequency, even in light of specific circumstances that could appear frightening, coming back into balance in the recognition that in this very moment, wherever it is that you are, even if you had been caught on perhaps the subway or in an elevator, to breathe, to know it is temporary, to stay in the presence of the now, to shift so that something comes and creates a change and you are released from that confined situation. You recognize that all is well. And so it is, if you are able to maintain that sense of serenity, that sense of stillness and presence without panic in the presence of the unfolding of what is occurring, recognizing you are participating in a larger evolutionary process, you are able to hold a higher frequency, and the fear that is seemingly needed to be instilled and to invoke or dismantle you from your energetic alignment cannot take place.
Mm. And so to stay grounded in the fear is to not in the fear, beyond the fear is to recognize that this moment is impermanent and that all will be well and that we're in a constant state of change. Is that what you're saying? That's how we transcend fear, to stay on target, on program, rather than getting diverted in one direction or another?
Yes, well, because it's your mind that is perpetuating the fear. Because even in a situation of being stuck, let's say in an elevator, you might not think that you're okay, but you are okay. You're in that moment, in that breath, in that stillness, it is the projection that you're not going to get out of the elevator or that you're going to be stuck in it forever, or the story about it, or that it could collapse or whatever it may be. And even if that happens, even if it falls and you leave your body, you're actually still okay because you are an eternal being of light. So when you come to the releasing of the greatest fear that many of you hold on to, which is death itself, in the understanding of the expansion of who you really are, then that fear cannot grapple, cannot grab onto you. And so you can just come into a sense of harmonization within the breath, within the center. And in this moment, right here, now, wherever it is that I am that I am okay. It is the story in the mind that perpetuates, of course, the fear. And so, as you continue to practice, as events around your planet accelerate and are rapidly firing at you and creating some havoc or cortisol rising in your nervous system, can you come back to center? Can you come back to presence? Can you recognize your own divinity? Can you come into the remembering of who you are? Can you hold a higher vision? Can you come into harmonization with the presence of this moment? And through that practice, you begin to recognize that it is not those outside circumstances that are indicating or are conducting who you are or what energy you are carrying. It's coming from an internal place. And when you come fully into that, then the outside energies that are grasping onto old paradigms that may want to create specific narratives to create fear have no power. They become powerless. And then you fully are in alignment with where real truth and power is, which is the authenticity and remembering of your own divinity.
And so it's a deep surrendering to the unknown, believing and trusting that it could be filled with miracles and goodness. And in that, there's no need to predict what's going to happen next, but to just sit back and get excited for what might unfold.
Ah, yes.
Awesome.
So are the stars calling out to you? Do you feel like a pull to the stars? That's because our galactic brothers and sisters are trying to reach us. And how do I know this? That's because I channel them. I have a direct contact with them. I've been doing this for 30 years, and they have been waiting for eons to share their teachings and their memories and their light codes with us. And so during the Galactic White Horse transmission, as we attune to that, we're going to ride that beautiful horse through the cosmos, and we're going to meet with our star family. Our brothers, our sisters are going to welcome us home and teach us so much and prepare us to step into the new earth. So if you are ready for that journey and that contact with your galactic family, then join us in the Galactic White Horse Light Code that starts soon. See you there. Mwah.
Next question that I have for you, Raphael, before we open it up to other people, are about the structures that are underground, particularly in Egypt, and what implications do these structures have in terms of the advancement of our civilization and other civilizations that might have existed previously?
Well, it is that many more revelations or discoveries will be coming up very shortly in your scientific community and headlines of new things, such as what has just been discovered underneath the pyramids in Giza. And the reason we are moving into this galactic light code at this time is because we will be connecting with many of those energies and linking them up to the galactic core, in which they are coming back online to support humanity in their evolutionary process in an accelerated rate, with so much love and support from your galactic family and sisters and brothers and beings that are also dwelling inside the earth itself. And so these discoveries that you have made recently of these energies, that pillars that are going down into the earth in Egypt, will be discovered through your technologies in many other places shortly around the planet. And as this happens, this will begin to shift the paradigm in the way in which you have been perceiving the world and the timeline of your own historical understanding. And as this happens, there will be many contacts that will start to occur from the other star systems in ways in which they will be sending pulsations of energy like waves that will send messages to all of you that you will start to feel and experience. And so this will be an extraordinary time. You are in an extraordinary moment in history, and there will be so much change. And so much change around what you have thought to be true. It will be groundbreaking ideas, paradigm shifting understandings for the collective as a whole. And so many of you focus on what's not going well and are concerned about the instability around the planet. But it is that even in the instability and the dissolving of that, so much more will be coming to the surface. So much beauty will be rising. So much awakening and gatherings and connectings will be occurring. And so we want to keep encouraging all of you to be focusing on all of that.
Thank you, Raphael. And my last question is about the Galactic White Horse and how are we going to work with the Galactic White Horse coming up in order to move our consciousness and its consciousness forward to evolve all of the galactic consciousness?
Well, you're going to be traveling to places and mapping places that have not been mapped before. And you will be receiving contact with energies that have no name, very high galactic vibrational frequencies that are eager to commune and to connect with all of you as you will be traveling. And the galactic white horse, the Pegasus vibration, will be one in which you will be able to align with its vibration and travel through multiple dimensions into and past the galactic core, all the way close to source and touching of source itself, where you will be receiving codes from the guardians who have been holding them, and then traveling back with these codes embedded within your energetic body, awakening you to the remembering of your origin and the original seeding of your planet, to bring forth energies that will then be dropped into the core of the earth itself and into the primordial waters that will rise up and have an enormous, powerful impact on your biology in the support of moving you into a crystalline state in which you enter into a dimension unknown to you through this perception, in which you align with the vibrations of sound and color and energies and frequencies as you step into and embody the vibration of the new earth. As this again begins to occur, it will create changes in your physiology, in your body, in your telepathic ways of connecting and communicating, in your perception, in your sight, in your hearing, in many things, as you will be an ambassador of sort, a beacon of light, holding a frequency that is building a new grid on the planet that is based in a different frequency that you have been operating in to date. These new grids will not only be coming and be mapped from the star systems, but on the ocean floor as well, as the dolphins will be of great assistance in this process. And as you attune to all of these, you, as a conduit of energy, shall be a bridge between these worlds, aligning with the star beings and attuning to the inner earth beings. This is moving in a very expansive way as you are expanding out as far as you can past and through galactic core frequencies and into the absolute depth core of the earth. And so this particular light code emanates and holds energy and grid systems that have not been perhaps attuned to by human beings before. And so this is extraordinary in this process. But this is the building of the new earth. It is for those interested in building, in being the architects, the creators, the visionaries of a new world, of a new earth, of one based in love, that is receiving very high octaves of energies to propel you into a new era. And so these energies are similarly related to your original or first question of your current grid system temporarily going out or having a blackout, because those systems are antiquated and old. And although they seem fast and filled with lots of technology and exciting to all of you, they are very outdated from our perspective and will not be able to hold the amount of light that is permeating the planet. It is like plugging too much into a circuit system that blows out on an energetic level. And so as those systems begin to blow out and dissolve in many different ways around the globe, it will be equally or more important to be focusing on the new ones that you will be creating. And so there will be a lot of mapping work, grid work, stellar galactic work, inner earth work, and expansive work. This light code is for those who are intellectually interested in stimulation and attunement to these higher frequencies and open and prepared to bring them forward onto the planet.
Thank you so much, Raphael. All right, we're gonna start with Joy.
Hello,
Hello.
thank you. Um, I wondered, Archangel Raphael, if you could explain to us how different emotions get their unique signatures, like anger, is hot or can be cold, sadness is heavy, grief tears at you. How is it emotions are sort of experienced like that and get their particular signature? And is there a frequency that can neutralize an emotional signature?
Ah. Well, as you attune more to this understanding, you recognize that all energies have a feeling, a sensation, a color, a sound, a vibration aligned with them. And in order to neutralize them, to bring them into a state of balance, is to come into a place of acceptance around them and to integrate them or to enfold them by bringing compassion to them into one's field without resisting them or pushing them away or labeling them in some way. And so there is a lot of work that many of you do where you come into relationship with your emotion and you identify it in how it feels or what it looks like or what it sounds like or where it may be in your body. And that is the signature of it. But it is, however, also important not to identify or name it so much that it becomes something other than unless it is needed to be named in order to come into relationship, to commune with it, to integrate it into your entire energetic field as a whole.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Angel Raphael. Heather.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hi. So for children having been born in the last 2 years, you've talked about their DNA being different and more advanced. So I'm wondering what we need to know about vaccines for them because there's a lot of fear being spread, especially in the US, about a new epidemic of outbreaks due to parents choosing not to vaccinate. So, how can we ensure that we keep our children safe and healthy, but don't introduce all the chemicals and other potential toxins that might not be necessary or good for their highest good? Thank you.
Ah, ah. Well, of course, it is to bring everything back to its origin. And so to bring them into relationship with their own body and with their food and with the sunlight and keeping them as toxic free and as healthy and building their immune system as much as possible, keeping them off the screens for a large extent, but bathing them in the forest, spending time in nature, and all of those things. The vaccine itself is an energy. And it has had its place, but it also has now become something in which there is great fear around due to the toxicity of its levels and perhaps some of the purpose for it that may be a bit off, not necessarily always in alignment for the greatest good for all. And so it is also important, though, like anything, to also remember and to recognize the power of your thoughts and your intention and your intention around what it is that you are doing and why it is that you are doing, and your capacity through your hands, through your energy field, through your thoughts, to change the molecular structure of any and all things. And so all of you know that when you work with water, because science will show you that your intention around it and the holding and the prayer of it and the music or messages sent to it with love creates a change on a molecular level of its structure. And that then when that structure is received or consumed from that particular frequency, it has a positive impact on the body. And so, whether it is a food or a vaccine or a medicine of some kind, or a plant or water, the way in which you are particularly in relationship to it has a very large impact on how it affects the body. And also in the one, which would be a child, which is innocent to it, has a relationship with it. And so it can be quite a complex subject matter, because some will even choose to be harmed by it for the purpose of something for the greater collective understanding. And others will receive it for the purpose of something that may be perceived also as positive. And so your relationship and belief system around it has a much larger impact on it than perhaps one would give credit to or recognize on how it positively or negatively affects the body. And so we encourage you to do very deep soul searching in your relationship to the vaccine, the reason for it, and if there is fear in either the fear of taking it because it will create harm in the body, or fear in not taking it because then you will get an illness. And so either of those decisions made in the frequency of fear can have a negative impact after receiving the injection, versus if you can come first into neutrality and then perhaps come into full alignment with it, whether it is to be taken or not to be taken, in an absolute sense of peace within one's decision, creates the most harmonization and the freedom for purity and health in the body itself.
Wow. Thank you so much, Raphael. Thank you. Thank you. Great question. Esther.
Hello.
Hello, hello,
How are
hello.
you? My question has been evolving. You just, in the first question, touched on something like synesthesia, perhaps. I feel like that is a part of neurodivergence that is maybe coming more online as well for us all. And I wondered what the role of water and the waters is in things like this kind of thing, like synesthesia and even telepathy. Can you speak on that?
It is very strong. And the water's role is an example, is a teacher for all of you. It is saying, look, look at me, look at me. I'm inside of you, and I'm in the oceans and the lakes and the rivers and the streams and the clouds, and I can communicate with you at any time and anything and anywhere in which my droplet touches. I am affecting through my consciousness, and my consciousness and your consciousness are continuously and always interacting, nor can they ever be separated. And so the elements, not just the water, but all of the elements, whether it be the earth itself, the soil is talking to you, the light is talking to you, the fire is talking to you, the wind is talking to you. And they are conduits for telepathic communication when you are paying attention. And they will answer any questions that they have. They will tell you anything in which you want to know. They are there as guardians of beauty and love to interact with you as you begin to learn how to read their signs and understand what it is that they are saying and communicating with you. And so the more of you begin to honor in deep sacredness your waters, they will be the greatest teachers for all of you in how to telepathically connect and communicate. And as originally said in the first question that was risen around the collapsing of your electromagnetic, not your electromagnetic field, but your current grid system that you're operating on, will open up lines of communication through telepathic communication that you have not had to practice or work on before, because you were dependent upon these other technologies that are simply training wheels that were put in place because your consciousness could not take the rapid leap to believe that in a second you could talk to someone across the world, or that an image could come up in front of you, like this moment, where you could see someone from somewhere else on a screen. But you don't actually need the screen to do it. You can open up the screen within your pineal gland, which is much more powerful than your black boxes, and you can communicate in that way with one another. But it does require a knowing that that's possible, and it is the consciousness that first had to know that it was possible through technology that was the stepping stone that will be the releasing of those training wheels to be able to soar on in a different way, to communicate in ways that are more natural. And so your consciousness couldn't make that leap. And it couldn't make the leap before around the connection and communication with water until others started to bring to your attention how it is communicating with you. But as more and more of you are starting to understand that, it opens up what we call envelopes of light in your consciousness that allow those envelopes to link up with others around the planet. And as it does it, it creates an entire consciousness that moves into an awareness that that is so. And then there is an exponential, rapid fire in change that allows then the perception that something is possible to come online. And that's what's occurring now.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you so much. All right, Allison.
Hi, Angel Raphael. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, how?
My question is about dreams and what significance can they be for us in our lives, and what should we specifically pay attention to? And what role does lucid dreaming have to play in our evolution?
Well, dreams are very beautiful, and of course, they have different levels, like many things. There are, of course, the processing of things that are occurring in your daily experience that your subconscious needs to deal with. But you're speaking of the different type of dreaming, and this is bleeding through and connecting into other dimensional realities and attuning to other aspects and parts of yourself that are operating in other realms and parallel realities in which you can align with these understandings. And it's very important at this time, for many of you are having these lucid dreamings and these awarenesses that you perhaps have not been experiencing before. And as you write them down and align with them, they can move into a sequence where they become continuous. And as the nighttime comes and you attune to it again and step into this way of dreaming, it can be a fluid, continuous stream of consciousness in which you are able to operate in the current dimension and experience that you are in now, and simultaneously in this other experience where the information from that experience will start to be one in which you can carry into this realm, and they can begin to merge, which is something that is occurring to facilitate and support the birthing of moving into a higher, what you would call dimension or perspective. And so we encourage all of you to pay attention and to harness or to practice or to work with this skill set and to give it the attention that it is beckoning of you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll move from lucid dreaming to lucid living. All
Mhm.
right, Sue, go ahead. Sue, it looks like you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Mm, seems like your mic might not be working.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm gonna move on to Violet and just raise your hand again, Sue. It seems like your mic's not working. Violet, go ahead.
Ah, had trouble unmuting. Hello, Raphael.
Hello, hello.
Hello. My question is about altars. Would you discuss the function of altars, how they work, and also what one can do to increase um, their power, their functionality?
Well, altars are something that are many of you are aligning and attuning to, for they are extraordinarily powerful, and they begin to develop potency as once they are built with intention and are created with love. The more time you spend with them, the energy in the space where they are potentizes itself and becomes its own energetic force. Depending on the use of the altar and what it is that you are doing with it, has different functions and purposes, but it can often open you up into other spaces and realms and is a mirror of the sacredness that is occurring on an energetic level within your own being. In order to potentize them or to amplify their capacity is simply to interact on a regular daily basis in a very sacred way by attuning to its vibration, spending time with it, connecting with it, lighting candles, chanting, praying, breathing, meditating, etc., and recognizing the potency of that is amplified perhaps within a house to create a sense or an aura of a particular frequency of harmonization or a frequency of abundance or a frequency of protection or whatever the intent of it is. We are finding that many of you are choosing to create sacred altars, not only in your home, but on the land. And we see them because their energy, when it is potentized with your connection with them, they become their own life force frequency that is an indication that we can see from where we are like a light. And so it becomes an emanation of a recognition that the space, wherever that is holding a particular vibration that is an alignment with a unification with other spaces in other places to form a connection. And so we encourage the working and the attuning and the aligning with the altar and the presence of it. We also want to remind all of you, though, that once it is built and created, it is important to maintain it. It is not something that you want to neglect or for it to get dusty or really dirty or to have dead flowers or rotten fruit near because it is something that has its own energy and it can be simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate as long as it is deeply appreciated and honored and cared for is very important in creating its power and its potency.
All right, excellent.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. All right, Rena. Rena, are you there? Go ahead. No, five, four, three, two, one. All right, we're gonna go to Jonas or Jonah. Sorry. Oof. Joanna. There we go. Uh, I can't hear you either. Hello? Can anybody hear Joanna? Nobody can. What's with it?
Perhaps we are finished. It is that a lot of energy is coming in, and we want to convey a specific message to all of you at this time. You are living through extraordinary times, and many of you are feeling overwhelmed by the changes that are taking place. We want to remind you that even though these changes are going to continue for a period of time, and that you, of course, have raised your hand and chosen to be here at this time of great change to remind yourself that whatever it is that you will be experiencing is temporary, that there will not be anything that will last so long that it will create great destruction or a difficulty for most of you. Know that the most important thing as these changes are taking place is to remain in a centered state of love and to come into balance within your own being and to support one another and to gather together in sacred ceremony, in dance, around fires during the time of the full moon and the new moon, to break bread together, to pray together, to chant together, to hold together, to love one another, and recognize that some of the changes at first, although intense or abrupt, will lead to things that you have not felt or experienced in a very long time, and for some of you, ever in your lifetime. A deep sense of connection, attunement, community, creation, joy. And so there will be a lot of joy, a lot of bliss, a lot of beauty, a lot of love and connecting, while at the same time, trepidation or perhaps uncertainty or wondering. And when that wondering or fear or uncertainty arises, notice how it can be transformed, how it can be transmuted into the understanding that it is propelling you at this time into a higher octave. With that, I send to all of you all of my love and all of my light. You may call upon me at any time, for I will come and visit and support you in healing, either emotionally, physically, or mentally, for I am the angel of healing. Much love, many blessings, and good day. Ah. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, I'm back. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining today. Um, if your hand was up and you didn't get your question asked, make sure to come on next week. And if you asked a question this week, please don't ask one next week. So that gives opportunity for people who didn't have an opportunity to ask. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. We're having a retreat here in New Hope, PA with my Ascended Master group. We're really excited to gather in sacred community. Encourage you to gather in your communities. I love you all so much. If you want to join us in our next light code, it's going to be an intense one, but I think you can handle it. It starts June 2nd. You can register now, and that's going to lead us into the summer solstice, which, the solstices and the equinoxes are always so powerful, so potent, so important. Those are donation based, they're always open to everybody. So that's another beautiful place to enter into our community. All right. If you guys haven't listened to, I was just on a podcast with Amelia. That was really fun. He's such a sweetie. I love him so much. Oh my God, what a sweet soul. That kid is just great. So feel free to watch that on YouTube. And recently was with Pam Gregory. And coming up now with Next Level Soul in a couple weeks, I had an interview. So stay tuned to all of that. And take care. Talk soon. Love, love, love.